Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in a prior video we took a look at my Canik METE SFT as I got it outfit with some aftermarket upgraded sights. These here are the DXT2 big dot sights. Now when I put them on at first, brought them to the range, everything was going good, but well, unfortunately, I developed a little bit of a problem. And I'm going to premise this entire video by saying because of user error. Unfortunately, when I installed the sights, I made a mistake. I'll get into that in a little bit. Moral of the story is, I believe I made a mistake on the installation. And unfortunately, what that means is, well, I actually cracked the Tridium and it has since kind of bled out all over the place, and I no longer get the benefit of the Tridium, and beyond that, the sights are a pure mess. Now, fortunately, the people at XS Sights were amazing. They took care of me, they sent me a replacement, and that's what I have here today. So the video today is kind of to bring to you a few key points. I'll talk to you about where I went wrong on the installation. I'll talk to you about what I'm going to do to hopefully correct this. Then we'll get this new sight mounted. I'll bring it to the range, test it out, give you some final impressions, and hopefully my Canik METE SFT will be set up with no future problems, at least in terms of the sights. And so with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now before we get too far, I would like to say thank you so much to the great people at XS Sights who made this all possible. Customer service was absolutely fantastic, so thank you very much. And so Tridium, from what I've come to understand, is basically a liquid in the state that you would use it in something like a front sight. So in other words, there's a vial on the inside filled with the Tridium, and that's what allows your front sights to glow. And in essence, if you're not careful and you damage that sight or the vial, you could potentially cause a problem where you develop, I guess, in essence, and what happened to me, a leak. And the Tridium slowly but surely leaked out, and you can see it all underneath and inside that front sight. So at this point, I mean, certainly the thing completely looks like hell. And even more so as I try to get these to glow. It will glow a little bit, but I mean, you're barely seeing that, and this thing should absolutely be beaming, and that's because it's just got that big, nasty, black, and sort of rusty looking spot right in the middle. So, I mean, it does glow a little bit, but it's not nearly what it's supposed to be. So, I definitely caused some damage. And so, well, what was the hard lesson learned? It did come down to my installation technique. When you pay attention and follow the instructions of XS Sights, they specifically say to use something like a punch. And so, in essence, you end up with a couple of different types of punches. Here's a nylon punch. This one here, this is a dovetailed brass punch. I've sort of filed this down and made it fit inside the dovetail on the front end, you know, the muzzle end of my Mete. And that's what they say to do. And so, well, I was able to wrap out and bang out my, factory sight out of the dovetail, no problem. Got the new sight actually filed down, and that's the next thing you'll know, or at least if you watch my prior video, which I do suggest, these come a little bit thick. And so you need to kind of sand them down and file them down to get them the appropriate thickness for your particular firearm. And I did that, and that went well. Actually, it went about perfect. And then it was time to install this, which, for me, I was like, well, if I could avoid completely beating up on my firearm, which I honestly don't really care too much, but if I could avoid it, I'd like to avoid it. And so I went through the process of getting this partially installed with the punches and said, well, instead of taking a hammer and wailing on everything and using these punches and wailing on everything, why would I do that? I mean, why would I hammer on things when I have this perfectly good sight puller right here, which should be able to pull everything nicely and neatly and carefully into place. And this is where I went wrong, because when you listen to what the people at XS Sights say, they say on the big dots, we recommend filing to fit and driving them in with a hammer and punch. The big dots are machined from 1144 bar stock that is very hard and doesn't have much give. Sights designed for use with a pusher need to be made from a softer alloy and or have dedicated crush zones. So yeah, I believe that in essence, I made a mistake. And thank you again to the people at XS Sights for helping me understand that and now correct the problem. So the next move for me, I got to get this stripped down. I got to take off my green dot. I got to take off my laser. I got to pull off my slide. I guess I don't need to drop the laser, but I'm gonna take off my slide, remove the internals, and drive out this through the dovetail punch. Now, again, I'm not going to show this. I did this already on film, and it demonetizes my videos. So if you want to see how I approached it, you can go back to my prior video and get the details. So I'm just going to take care of this, and we'll go from there. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this new sight, which you can see this one is orange. So my original was really more of a yellow color. And I think the orange is going to have better contrast for my shooting environments. So they did swap this out for the orange. I'm going to file this and sand it down. And then I'm going to get it all fit up. So when I come back, I should have a new sight on the front. And hopefully this goes well. And if you want to see all the details about how to do this, take a look at my prior video. And so now, with the front sight installed, everything went fairly well, all things considered. Now, I didn't completely clean my firearm by any means, but just kind of wiped it down real quick, getting everything installed the right way. And this went fairly well, with the one exception being my punch is so soft, being brass, that the punch itself rounded over as I was installing this. And, you know, I did my best to kind of square it up, but it was kind of sliding off the edge of this just a little bit. Now, it wasn't really wailing by any means on the sight itself, but what I can tell you is just the edge of the steel on that sight itself rolled over a tiny bit. Not a big deal. In fact, you know, I got this Canik METE specifically for the ability to learn and practice and try these things and learn the lessons. So if I'm going to learn lessons, I'm okay with the fact that it didn't go perfect. If I'm learning lessons, I'm okay with the fact that I've put some marks and, you know, some scuffs and just a little bit of love on the muzzle end of my Canik METE. But how nice and bright is that orange? The orange really does stick out very well. And sighting down, I mean, you can see just looking at the rear sight there and then coming up onto the front. I mean, that's just awesome. So I do have to say, all things considered, I like the orange. I think the orange is going to be a real nice bright sight. Super easy to pick up on, nice and contrasty, and should give me the ability to see this real nice when I get to the range. But with that, it's time to get out there and see how I like it. All right. See if this is even remotely dialed in.
Which gun is this one?
This is the Canik.
Nice shot. Another nice shot.
Hold one.
That's a good grip, eh?
Hold one, but
Got one low left.
that's the last one, I think. I forget.
We're doing that today too. That's a good shot, dude. Training my eyes to see it.
Still going a little left. So, I mean, I completely drifted in this sight yesterday. So I'm trying to figure out how close it is. So I think I'm gonna bench rest it and really take my time on the bench. Theoretically, it should be like
That's a good shot.
not too bad.
That's a good shot.
So it might be a touch left.
Dead nuts. Where are we aiming?
Center.
We're fucking all over it. Putting holes in your holes.
I mean,
I think everyone hit the 3.
that's pretty freaking close. I mean, is there adjustments to be made?
I don't think so. How could you get? What do you want to go? Every bullet to go through the same hole? Like,
I mean,
that's a great grouping. That's within a 1-inch grouping.
right.
At 15 yards? No, what are you? 7 yards?
Let's try this again.
Going for 4.
Yep. I mean,
not much better than that, brother.
that's about as good as you can ask for, right?
That's about as good as you can do.
I mean, so I guess at this
Looks
point,
like a fucking revolver barrel, dude.
it kind of does. I mean, all right. So I think I can say that this is pretty much dialed in. I mean,
Now,
what
when you
more
go
can
out
I
to
do?
fucking 15 yards, that's going to be magnified, right? So you're going to probably be like double, you would think, right?
Yeah.
Away from that. Like the
I
grouping
would
get-
agree.
Would get double.
But the fact that I'm not too far left, too far right, too high, or too low, I mean, to me, if it's equal in all directions, then what more could I do? It's trigger press, it's my skills, and
I was going to say, your anticipation of the shot, your trigger pull, and that
yeah.
going for 4 was mint.
Yep. All right, so you're gonna bench rest it.
I'm just going to bench rest it on my hands.
Yep. And you're going center target.
Center target.
All right. And now, do you know? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get that circle
Right.
entirely showing above that V notch.
Above. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the
then put it on the
center
ring.
is the center, of course. You know. Touch low.
Can't even see. I'm not used to this gun.
Yeah.
Not used to the trigger yet.
Yep. Release it back nice and slow when you bring the trigger back. Feel the reset. It'll click.
I can't even see where I hit the fucking target.
We'll
I
have
hit the
to
target?
we'll review the tape. What do you think of the sight?
It's a little weird. It would take some getting used to.
Yep.
I'm
It
used
is
to my night sights. Like,
much different,
when I
right?
compare these. My safety's on, like, it's not that different, but see, I feel like I'm aiming high because see the open gap in my night sight right
Correct.
there. That's more comfortable for me.
Yeah, that's a very different idea conceptually.
So
right?
this makes it feel like I'm shooting high because of where the notch is in this. So like there.
Yep.
It's kind of different. It's also a bigger gun, and I'm not used to the safety in the trigger either, which is a new feel for me. So.
Low. There you go. That thing's snapping.
It is. I didn't do too well with it. I'm so used to the system.
And so, all right, guys, there you have it. A look at the Canik METE SFT with the XS large orange dot sight. Absolutely awesome. And I do have to say, after all of this, I do like the orange dot better than the yellow or the green. I think it has a nice contrast. And although, ironically, of course, I happen to choose the orange targets to test the orange sight, which is not always the norm, but figures that's what happened. Was not thinking it through entirely, but all in all, it actually went very, very well. I'm happy with the overall alignment. I feel like I got that pretty right. I'm, for the most part, happy with the installation. I did have a little bit of a problem, again, where my punch was sort of rounded over, which left a little bit of a funny lip on the edge of my sight. My fault, user error, but a learning experience, and that's what I'm enjoying about this. The fact that I'm going through this process, I'm learning, I'm figuring these things out. It's something that just, you have to do it to kind of get the experience. And now I can say, I've drifted in sights, I've kind of maintained them. I know now that if I'm not careful, I can damage them. I mean, of course, but those are the things that you learn through trial and error and through doing. So again, to the people at XS Sights, thank you so much for helping me along the way, both in the first place, providing the sights for review, and then for the awesome customer service. Thank you to all of you for following along, and if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is more on my primary gear. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, and backpacking excursions, all the gear that goes with it. So from sleep systems, shelter systems, knives, axes, backpacks, flashlights, you name it, that's my Outer Limitless YouTube channel. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.